Right now, this CPU is a fantastic deal. Let's talk about this build, where it can make sense, but also where it won't. Welcome to Machines and More. Intel has been in the news a lot lately. Also, there are some serious Intel deals to be had now. I've talked about the Intel i5 14600K before in the SFF context. We did undervolting with the ASUS B760-i board in the Fractal Terra before, and after the Intel microcode fixes. In general, even though I think it's been a decent CPU, I have been a little bit lukewarm about it in terms of using it in small form factor. But now, at some retailers, you can get it for as low as $150 US. From what I understand, also that comes with a copy of Battlefield 6 when that does release. So for the right user and build, this does become pretty interesting. So I did another air-cooled sandwich style build here. This one is in a different case. This is the FormD T1V2. It's a really fun case. Start with the board, which is the ASUS Strix B760-i. While I think it's the best B760 ITX board, it is discontinued, however, so the pricing can be kind of wild now. For the more moderate powered 14600K, the board choice isn't as imperative here. Gigabyte and MSI both have good B760 ITX boards, and I'll leave those linked down below for your reference. Now, you might know that there's no CPU overclocking with Intel's B chipset boards. If you do want that, you have to go to a Z690 or Z790 platform. That being said, you're not leaving too much performance on the table running this CPU at stock. Not too long ago, Intel deployed a series of new microcodes to address over voltage with 13th and 14th gen chips. That was really more of a concern with the i7 and i9 parts. 14600K is an i5 part. So I have talked about undervolting with the previous Intel microcodes. As a side note, even with the newest Intel ME and board BIOS, you are still able to switch back to the 0x104 microcode and try out undervolting with this particular B-level board. But I'm actually not seeing remarkably different results now between the current stock microcode and where it tested in at for the 0x104 plus undervolting setup. So I wouldn't go into this setup with the automatic assumption that you have to undervolt it. Where the B760 chipset works just fine is that it allows memory OC. Here I am pairing with a 7200 MHz CL34 kit. These chips run very well and do benefit from the higher clocked and low latency memory kits. This particular kit is one packaged by Clev, but you can find similar kits. It doesn't have to run this fast, but just know that you often can go this fast with Intel current gen and the 12, 13, 14th gen. The 14th gen is a little bit stronger there. Wanted to give a quick shout out here to our friends at BuyWin. They sent by their NV7400 M.2 for the build. You may not have heard of them before, as this is their first go around marketing the drives under their own brand name. But they are not a stranger to drives. They have been an OEM for quite a few drives marketed by big brand names. It's very fast Gen 4 drive here, 1, 2, and 4 terabyte options. At one point, the 4 terabyte was priced very aggressively, so definitely go and check this drive out. For cooling the CPU, we did the Terra one with the ID Cooling IS67XT previously. For T1V2, we are narrower, so we do have to size down. This is the AXP90X53 full copper from Thermalright. There is a lot of thermal mass in this one, so it works, punches well above its weight. Well, that does weigh quite a bit, so I don't know if you can say that. I do think it makes sense to configure where you can use a bigger cooler or liquid cool this one, which you can do in T1V2, but I do have this setup in here for a specific comparison that I'll be seeing in the near future. Power supply here is V850 SFX from Cooler Master, and on the GPU side, I've got an ASUS Prime 5080. It's a solid 2.5 slot card, great for a high-end gaming build. The main reason for the 14600K at this point in time, or why are we even talking about it, because it's super budget friendly, right? This type of CPU and GPU pairing is suitable for a 1440p or 4K gaming system where you can save on the CPU and shift the resources towards the graphics card, since the CPU won't be as key of a factor. But this is no slouch. This is still a very solid gaming CPU. For my testing in the past, the 14600K sits between the 9600X and 9700X for 1080 and 1440 gaming. with multi-core performance that's pretty similar to a 9700X when it's running at higher CTDP level. So figure the 9700X is still north of 300 US now, so there's quite a big gap there. The idle power draw is low with this one, and it's also nice to have the efficiency cores for those lighter loads and lighter tasks. But there are quite a few downsides to consider. One, while you might still be able to get into a B760 or even B660 board affordably, this is a dead-end socket. So not only is it previous gen, unlike AMD where they still were releasing new AM4 CPUs well into the AM5 era, Intel is unlikely to make anything new for this LGA 1700 socket. So for me, it would feel really, really odd getting a new board knowing that this is it. Second, this is a tough bugger to cool. It works well, but if you are limiting yourself to a small cooler, such as in a small case like this, it's going to be toasty. As an example, for Far Cry 6 at 1080 high, you should expect some higher CPU temps. As mentioned, there's some improvement in performance for undervolting in gaming here, but either way, with a cooler like this, as you can see from the results, it's marginally sufficient. I definitely would recommend a 120 millimeter cooler where you can, or liquid cool this one. For efficiency and power draw, it costs more, but definitely the 7800X3 that I revisited in the last video is going to be significantly better. And while a fast and low latency RAM kit works well, I would still much rather have the 3DV cache that chip has for your CPU sensitive titles and resolutions. So where I think this could make the most sense is if you have a compatible board already, or you can get one very cheaply. Say you got into a 12400 like I set up way back with the ASUS B660-i. This would be a fantastic stepping stone until you're ready to switch platforms, or I guess if you're gearing up for Battlefield 6 anyway, and you can take advantage of the current Intel gaming promo, that would also make this a very, very good deal. So yeah, that'll do it for this build. Give a like, make sure you're subbed to the channel. Let me know if you have any questions down below. I'll leave links for the CPU and components down below. Big thanks for watching.